What's one piece of advice that you could give that person who's like, I kind of want to take this a little bit more seriously? What approach should they go with?
Yeah, the first thing is just shop for the best line. It's the best thing you could do.
Line.
Is a lot of the times, if you shop for the best line, you'll find a discrepancy, and you might bet something that's a positive expected value bet without knowing it by just getting the best number. That's the whole goal of this whole thing, is just to get the best of it. So that's the number one piece of advice. Have multiple. So
you're not actually caring who wins or loses.
No, I know people that make mid six figures that don't even know a single player on a single team.
They don't care about his turn.
They don't care. They don't watch the games. They just check their portfolio at the end of every week.
And it's basically from where it started to right before the game. Is that the idea?
Yep. And there's going to be an opener. That line's going to move up and down based on the money that's coming in, the information that's coming in, and then there's going to be a closing line. So in the course of the open and the close, you could pick off some valuable positions.
So give me an example of a typical bet for you.
Like
a typical, yep, this makes sense to bet. Like Nuggets, -4.5. What would make sense?
So yeah, say this would be an off the wall example, but say we're unsure of if Michael Porter Jr. is going to play, and he's not going to affect the line too much. But say he gets rolled out, and all of the books move from that -4 to -3, I could still get Oklahoma City at +4 the other way. So that instance is kind of beating the books to the information. So you're playing one book against the other. Yeah. That's how this is. That's what's going on here. So that's an instance. That's like if you middle or you do arbitrage, you could de-risk your positions by betting both sides of it at valuable spots.
That is so good.
There's so many different ways to do it too. We could talk for hours about it.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm so interested in this. So effectively what you're doing, this is why it wasn't clicking for me, was, okay, if on one book it's -4.5 and the other one is -3.5, you're betting one book against the other.
So in that situation, you could bet Oklahoma City +4.5 and Denver +3.5. Now, I don't know if that's a profitable middle based on the juice you have to pay.
Right.
But
that's the philosophy.
I mean, not the grand scheme. Like ideally, you just want positive EV bets any way you could get them, and middles are a good way to not introduce a ton of risk, but have a bunch of upside.
And so long as it doesn't hit right on that, you're fine.
No, well, you want it to hit.
Or you want it to hit it right on that.
Yeah, you want it to land in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it lands outside, then you just lose the amount that you had to pay for the juice.
And you had a good time being like,
and you had something to root for, yeah.
And you had some entertainment going back and forth, and it's good.
But the perfect scenario would be if you bet the Nuggets -4.5 and they close -7.5. Then you're sitting on you got them at -4.5. You need them to win by 5. The closing line tells you, because the closing line is the most efficient line.
It is really?
Yes.
Closing line, not the starting line.
The closing line is our North Star. Like, if you beat the closing line, you're going to win long term. That's the whole goal of all my betting. Beat the closing line, you'll win money long term.
No kidding. So because if it's at -7.5 and you got it at -4.5,
right?
The chances that the game is going to end right at that -7.5 is pretty high.
It is pretty high, especially in basketball.
Regardless of the starting line.
Yeah, the starting line is, a lot of times the starting line is just a placeholder that the books will put out there, and then they let the money shape the market. So
I shouldn't be, with my strategy, I shouldn't be looking at the starting line. I should be looking at the ending line.
In theory, the closing line's a lot more efficient than the opening lines.
Interesting.
Because the money comes in, opinions shape the market. Like any market, you have buyers and sellers on each side, and that line moves based on that action, and where it settles right before the game, at that point in time is the most efficient time of that line.
I'm going to update my... Because I have been, it's funny that you mentioned this, because with my method of, I'm basically betting the swing and I'm trying to bet it.
Right. Which is the right idea. Buy low, sell high. Yeah.
Yeah. The times that I do lose, I lose by like 1 or 2 points.
It's close.
And it's always like, well, it started at 4.5 and it ended at 7.5. Yeah. And then it was a 6-point game or something like that. It's like, oh my gosh,
So yeah,
missed it.
The closing line is more indicative of the true price that thing should be.
Interesting.
Everyone says Vegas knows. It's like, well, Vegas really doesn't know. The people that bet, the professional bettors, they shape the market. The bettors shape the market
because they're the ones who are talking about Michael Porter Jr.
They do it for a living, and they're betting high 6 figures, millions of dollars a single bet. So they've looked into it.
They're
right?
doing it for a living, looking at more than just the numbers. They're looking at
a million different things.
All these different.
They have models and algorithms and handicappers and
Is that what I don't know if you remember, Jimmy? Is that what Jimmy the Greek was doing?
So he had a big kind of like a syndicate, I think, behind him too, where it's like they have a group of people. It's just being first to the information. Okay. Is kind of was the name of the game back then, and it still is to a degree, But
you're not necessarily first.
I mean, it's nice to be, but you can't rely on it.
But you don't have some equipment guy in the Nuggets that tells you.
I have my sources to be quick to news, and sometimes if an injury news comes out, like, hey, say Jokic, he's out tonight because he got hit by a car or something.
Yeah,
that line is gonna move dramatically. So if you find out at the same time the sportsbooks do, sometimes you could beat them before that line move. So information is everything, and the professional bettors, they have more information than anyone.
Personal question. How did you get into this?
Well, it's a long, my dad used to take me to the track a lot as a kid.
Here in Denver?
No, in Albuquerque where I grew up. We'd go to the track a lot. So that's kind of introduced me to betting just in general. And then it became legalized when I lived in Phoenix, and all the sign-up offers for all the sportsbooks were like, hey, put up $50, get $250 free or whatever. So I did that on 8 or 10 of these different sportsbooks. Before you know it, I'm sitting there with $1,000 of not my own money.
Free money.
Essentially free money.
Yeah.
And then just kind of took it from there. But my love from sports, it stems from that. I enjoyed doing it at first. And then, I just networked and found these organizations to get involved with and learned how to do it right and kind of just scaled it from there.
So of the guys who are kind of doing it like you're doing it,
mm-hmm.
on average, what's their annual ROI?
I mean, 13% is a good one, but a lot of the professional bettors, if you could get upwards of 5 to 8%, that's solid.
So 5 to 8%
they're making a good
solid.
living.
Okay.
They're making yeah.
Because you're beating Vegas for 5 to 15%, I guess, is kind of where it's at.
Right. Yeah.
So that's to be expected. Most people are not doubling their money.
Well, yeah. So last year, I doubled my bankroll probably 4 or 5 times.
So how did you get to the 13%?
The 13% in sports betting, it's a little deceiving. It's it's almost on a single bet basis. So it's you bet 100, you're going to win whatever, $13 per $100 you bet.
Okay.
So say you bet $1 million, you're going to win a lot of money. So
you don't start at, hey, I started with 1,000 at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year I had.
No, I didn't have $130. No, I started at the beginning of last year. I had 1,000. I ended with 8,000.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So that's more than 13%.
And the thing is too, once you double your bankroll, your bet size doubles. So then that 13% it compounds in that
now I
sense too.
So you're talking about you're winning 13% of your bets.
Not win percentage, but yeah, I put in $100, I win 13.
Gotcha.
Right.
Interesting. That's on average per bet.
Per bet, on a per bet basis.
And
yes.
so the other guys are, some guys are at 5%, 8%, right. 13%. Some beat you. You're not not the best sports bettor on the whole planet, right?
Absolutely.
But you're trying to be.
Yeah. Working on it. Yeah.
Working on it. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss the next episode. Every week, we drop practical money strategies and real stories that'll change the way you think about wealth.